Hi, my name is Mike Lacey, and here is with me Jaylon Vickers, an ex-Cougar defensive back, and a guy who has a ton of stories and very interesting experiences. So, Jaylon, good to have you here.
For sure. Thanks for inviting me. Excited to be here.
It's good to have you here.
Yes, sir.
Jaylon, I'm going to have to, put a plug in for him right now because he owns a company called MVP Cleaning, and he and my son, Daniel, have this business together.
Yep.
And so it's kind of call it self-serving, but I know all of you need to have your homes cleaned by MVP Cleaning. Jaylon, are you having success with this new business of yours?
Yeah. It's been great. It's the Utah market's, it's an awesome market, good families, a lot of people that have kids, busy lives. So it's pretty easy to kind of fit in where we are, and we've enjoyed it so far. So we love it, man.
I'm sorry that I started with that because your stories are fascinating, and I know that our people want to hear what you've got to share. In fact, it was totally new to me until you shared it with us. But tell us first a little about your history. How did you get to BYU?
Yeah, so I went to school at Bingham High School. I got out here in Utah my junior year of high school.
Originally, you're from Florida.
Originally from Florida. So I played football. I didn't start playing football until my junior year of high school when I went to Bingham. And then
what other sports did you play before football?
I just played basketball.
Really?
That's it. Yeah, that's all.
Basketball is a great game, brother.
Yeah, I was too small though. I was 5'9", and that doesn't get me too far at all.
Don't you remember Spud Webb?
I didn't have hops like him, man.
He was quick.
He could jump.
I know you're fast, quick, and everything else, but he could jump too.
Yeah, Spud was. Yeah, he was crazy. He was crazy. And then Isaiah Thomas, he was like 5'8".
It is so interesting to me. I know we're taking a little diversion here from your history, but how basketball has evolved into a game. In my era, man, the team with the biggest guys won. It was when you were tall, you had an advantage.
Exactly.
And it's so interesting to see smaller teams, quicker, ball control, step back shots.
Yep.
Running circles around those big guys.
Yeah. You don't even have to be big anymore. You can just be athletic. Crazy.
But athletic in some contorted ways. You almost have to be. Is it Baryshnikov, the great dancer? You have to be able to take that step and then jump sideways.
Yeah.
So many feet, almost like an Olympian.
Yeah.
And then you get that shot off that's just right, perfect off the glass.
Yep.
For two.
Yeah. It's crazy.
So you were a basketball player.
Yeah, believe it or not.
That's good. What's wrong with that? That's
believe it or not. I know. I loved it, man. Basketball was. I had dreams of like NBA, going to like Duke, and I never pictured playing football. So, for sure, a good change. I guess a good change of events.
You played at Bingham. Did you play both sports, football and basketball?
Yeah, at Bingham I played football, basketball, and then I transferred to East High School up in Salt Lake and played football and basketball there as well too.
Cool.
So, yeah, it was for sure a journey though. So as far as BYU though, I didn't know I was going to get at least an opportunity until after my senior year of high school, and I was kind of going through like basketball and still didn't have an opportunity. And then one of the BYU coaches just offered me an opportunity to go play at BYU, and I just kind of took it, man. Grateful for it, for sure. It was awesome.
No, and I'm grateful too. I mean, I again, another sidelight.
Yeah.
And I assume that you followed the team this year.
Yeah, a little too much.
Okay, good.
A little too much.
You're with me. I did too. A little too much. But I was so impressed with this defensive backfield that BYU had this year.
It's the best I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. Like, they're athletic, smart, can run. Like, they're playing man-to-man the whole game, blitzing. Like, even when I was at BYU and years before that, like, BYU was never known to do that. So it's crazy to see, like, athletes at BYU now.
We interviewed Raider DeMooney this week, and what an impressive young man.
It's weird to see him because I just remember him as, like, just being, like, this tall, just like a freshman in high school. And now he's just like a grown adult, just like making plays out there. It's crazy.
And he is. He's a safety.
Yeah.
But then when you talk about shut down, defensive backs, I was watching Jacob Robinson.
Oh, yeah.
And he was going man-to-man on Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
And literally shutting the dude down.
Yeah.
And here's the Heisman Trophy receiver. And it was amazing. And those are just two of the guys.
And they got other athletes as well, too. Yeah.
Absolutely. The whole group.
Yeah.
I feel bad now that I'm not naming them all, but
I know I can't even name them either, but they're I think J-Rob, I think he's like the best DB to like ever play at BYU, to be quite honest. He can play. I hope he gets an opportunity at the next level.
The way he played, I'm sure people are looking at him.
Oh yeah.
You might know better than I. But I think he's around a little bit under 6 foot tall.
Oh yeah.
But I don't think at cornerback you have to be tall.
They like him tall now,
of course.
But like if you can play, you can run, you're smart. If you're smart, that's the biggest thing, and you just know where the ball's going. And
now wait. You're a DB.
Yeah.
I'm an old fullback, tight end kind of guy. We're way smarter than you guys.
You think so, right? I say you're tougher, but
so when you say, and I'm teasing, of course. I mean, you do have to be smart, but
for sure.
Tell me what the smartness is.
Yeah,
you have to have.
Yeah. I think just knowing where the ball is on the field. If you know where the ball is, you know where it routes. The route tree of the receiver. Knowing the play, studying film, it's huge for sure. I've been out of the game for like 4 years now, but I still watch the game kind of in that way, and it's fun though. Playing DB is the hardest position, but if you're smart and intelligent, you can make plays at any level for sure.
It's funny. I'm glad you brought that up. Playing DB is a different sport.
Yeah,
I mean it's a different game. We just had Andrew Gentry here this morning.
Yeah, big dude,
and he likened himself to a DB.
He did.
Imagine.
Oh, lineman?
Yeah, an old lineman. But think about it. What he said was absolutely true. And I loved baseball too, and so a good umpire, you never hear his name.
For sure.
Right?
For sure.
Because he called a good game, so no one's angry. A good offensive lineman, you don't want your name called.
Yep.
Why?
You're struggling.
Yeah. If the only time you get noticed is when your guy gets around you don't block or whatever. And he was saying the same thing. Mm-hmm. You defensive backs, like the offensive lineman, you're going backwards. You're shutting down. You're trying to cover that guy.
Yep.
And if people are talking about your name,
it's not good.
It means that someone might have caught it. It's not good. So isn't that interesting that offensive linemen and defensive backs have similar roles?
It's very true. No, it's true though. It's true because it's like you can have a great game as a DB, and then if you give up a big play, you're like the worst DB ever like in history. And so O-lineman's the same way for sure.
Yeah. So anyway, you can have a lot of great games and people notice you eventually. Sure. But a good game by defensive back, we're not talking about you.
No one cares.
Except in film room.
Exactly.
Great job.
Exactly.
Great job.
Exactly.
And so that to me was very interesting.
Yeah, I never thought of it that way.
Neither had I. And here's a 6'7", 320-pound guy saying he's like a defensive back. In that regard.
Yeah, it makes sense though. When you said that, I was like, how is he?
I know.
Yeah, well, no, that makes a lot of sense though. When you put it like that, for sure.
That was fun. All right, so Jaylon Vickers, defensive back, football at Bingham High School, which is a great high school program.
It is.
Love basketball. In fact, your first love, it sounded like, was the basketball.
Yeah. It's my dad growing up. My stepfather growing up. He played overseas basketball. Played like ABA. I don't know if you know what that is.
Yes.
ABA basketball here. Had tryouts with a few NBA teams straight out of college, and so
wow.
Yeah, so I was raised just kind of traveling with them, going to workouts with them, going to the gym with them, and just kind of fell in love with it. So
this is your stepfather.
That's my stepfather. Yep.
I want to talk about your family in a minute because that's fascinating what you were starting to share. But let's go over a little bit more of your history because you went to BYU, you were playing football, but then you made a decision to go on a mission. Tell us what happened.
I did.
I'm proud on you. That's great. But
yeah,
how did you get in that process?
Yeah, to be quite honest, I never really had the thought to go on a mission. I had like uncles that went on missions on my mom's side of the family. My actual father, he's not a member. I really had no one like in my family that has gone on a mission. So it was never really a thought,
and that's unique. I mean, when you're the first, when you're the pioneer in your family, I mean, nobody knows, include you or your parents, your family.
No one's pushing you to go.
How are we doing it? Yeah, no one's pushing you, and then how do you do it? What does it mean?
Yeah, I think a lot of people say BYU changes your life, which is very true. And I think just being around, like, for example, I had a roommate that wasn't on the football team at BYU, and I would come home at just hanging out from the night and come home for practice at like 10 and 11 o'clock at night. And I come home and he's like reading the scriptures and just like praying. I'm like, and it sounds like the most BYU thing.
Yeah, it does.
But like a lot of kids aren't doing that at BYU, believe it or not.
No.
And so just seeing that every day was like a real example to me. And then just being around guys like Coach Sataki talking about his mission, guys on the football team that were returned missionaries talking about their mission. It just kind of all clicked. And then my grandma, her and her husband went on a senior missionary trip to Samoa. And I was like, this is like something's just telling me like I need to go on a mission. Like all these things are happening.
Really?
Yeah. And so literally after she left, I put my call in. I was praying about it. And then I just got the answer like, you need to go on a mission. And so I just stopped playing football right then and there and put my call in. And I was in New York 4 months later. So
4 months later.
Yeah, 4 months later.
And that's fascinating. I mean, is it the New York City mission?
Yeah, New York City. So like Manhattan, Brooklyn.
And the years you were there?
I was there 2019, and then I left after COVID, like right when COVID happened.
Yeah, because New York, I mean, it kind of shut down, right?
Yeah, the area that I was serving
during the pandemic.
Yeah, during the pandemic. The area I was serving in, that's where like the first case in America like hit in New York. And so,
wow.
Crazy time.
And, it was crazy. I mean, we know more now in retrospect.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But back then,
no one knew anything.
We didn't know anything. I mean, everyone in the world was going to die,
Yeah.
As far as the way the media and all of us talked about. So that's fascinating. And then you get in a big city where people are on the subway and, the congestion of a big city.
Yeah.
I mean, wow. That would
and it
be
just
scary.
slows down. It just slows down.
Oh, it must have been crazy.
Yeah, I felt bad for all the missionaries. It was tough just being in your apartment all day, every day in New York. It's tough for sure.
So all of a sudden, the vibrant city of New York became quiet.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it was.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, 100%. So my wife, she was in Manhattan. So I met my wife on my mission in New York City. No, dead serious. And so
was she another missionary?
She was another missionary.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah, so she was in Manhattan.
And where is she from?
She's from Draper.
Oh, well, so you guys are just...
right down the street.
I was going to say kissing cousins, but never mind.
Yeah, right now, yeah.
On your mission.
I know, right? My mission had a lot of people that got married. It's crazy.
And my wife and I served as senior missionaries as well, and it's kind of a joy to see kids meet in that environment.
Oh, yeah.
And later, after their missions, reconnect.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, for sure. It's always like that. That's like the foundation that like you've built the foundation already on Christ. And so that's the foundation you just kind of, if you do it the right way, that's just the foundation you have for the rest of your life. And so
she was in Manhattan.
Yeah. And it was just... She was like, it was just crazy. Everything just shut down. All the stores were shut down in the apartment all day.
Where were you at the time?
I was in a town called New Rochelle.
New Rochelle.
So kind of
up north?
Like by like Westchester, that area.
Yeah, but I mean, it might as well be a state away, but it's only like
30 minutes
15
away.
Miles?
Yeah, not even that far.
Not even that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so good times though. I love New York City.
You loved your mission.
Yeah.
But if the pandemic hit, you probably had to go home.
Yeah, so I had I forgot this, but I had asthma.
Really?
Yeah, and it really wasn't like a huge issue for me. Like I forgot I had it, and then my mission president called me. He's like, "Hey, on the records, looks like you have asthma." Like,
and because of the pandemic and the respiratory fears,
exactly,
they said you're packing it up, man.
Yeah, no talking about it, no like arguing about it. Just like you have asthma, you're going home.
Okay,
so It was a blessing, though. I married my wife 6 months after that, believe it or not.
Which you sound, well, I mean, sent home doesn't sound right. All of you guys pretty much went home.
She only had like 2 months left in her mission.
Okay.
And so it was like time for her to kind of get going anyways. And so she got home a month.
And I saw some pictures. I forget if it was Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn or whatever, but you and your wife and your marriage photos were beautiful.
Oh, thank you. It's because of her, not me. So.
Well, I shouldn't say you guys were beautiful. No, really, the photographs were awesome.
Oh, thank you, man.
And yeah, she's a beautiful young lady.
I appreciate it.
And have you started a family?
Yeah, so we have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. 2 boys.
Wow.
2 boys.
You're busy, both of you guys.
Yeah, it's busy. It's a fun time though. Keeps it fun. Daniel just had his second kid, right?
Yeah, my son Daniel, their business partner, you and Daniel are business partners. They just had their second, and that's been an exciting time in our family.
I bet.
I've got a serious thing I want to share with you, and I hope that our people are still on with us when we talk about this, because you shared with us just very quickly something that's gone viral on TikTok and Instagram,
yeah.
And it's about your brother.
Yeah.
Your brother, who your mom adopted out.
Yep.
And his name is Tuzio. Will you share with us a little bit of this incident that sounds so interesting?
Yeah. So I kind of mentioned it to my wife a little bit. So she's the reason behind it all, to be quite honest. And so one day I was just telling her, like, hey, take it back a little bit. It was about a year before that I've kind of told her I have a brother that I haven't met yet, and I didn't know his name. And so one day, a year later, me and my wife were just sitting down talking, and she's like, I want to find your brother. And I'm like, I don't know his name. I don't know how to find him. I don't know, like, if he's on Instagram. Like, I know it's through the church, but the church closed down the adoption agency that they had, and so there was no way to find him. And so I asked my mom. I never really talked to my mom about it, and I asked her, and she's like, yeah, his name is so-and-so. And so we literally...
So your mom knew his name?
Yeah, so my mom...
Did she name him, or did the family that adopted him name him?
She had a name for him, and then the family that adopted him named him something else.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, so it was... And literally, the minute we searched his name up, he was the first person that came up on Instagram.
Yeah, it's a unique name, Tuesday.
Yeah, it's crazy. And so... And the reason because of that is because there was someone that Bree and I served with in New York City that was from his hometown, and they were like following each other, and they knew of each other just from the church ties.
But they didn't know.
No, they didn't know we were connected anyway. And so that's how I found him on Instagram. And then I texted him like, "Hey, I think I'm your brother," and he's like, "No way!" He got back to me instantly, like, "No way." And then literally 12 hours later, he's in Utah. So
yeah, 12. I mean, he jumps on a plane.
Oh yeah, he was playing on game. Usually though, I'm surprised.
And he was in Oregon.
He was in Oregon.
Yeah.
So
okay. And he flies to Utah to see you.
Yeah, and then we just hung out for about 2 weeks. There was a photographer here that did like a free pictures for all the family to get like the moment and things like that. So really, really cool experience. And he's in town this weekend, and so
really
gonna hang out with him a little bit. So
wow, what does he do?
He doesn't do much.
He's a younger brother.
Yeah, younger brother. So he's in school right now, just kind of working
in Oregon.
In Oregon with his.
All right. Well, I mean, if this gets too personal, we'll edit it. But it was a church oriented or branded adoption.
Yeah.
So did he go to another family, members of the church?
Yeah, so the husband and the wife, they were both members of the church. And so it was...
So he's brought, I mean, and again, I care, but I don't, it doesn't matter. You know, he's still a member of the church. And so he comes out here with you, and you know, it's like being with your brother.
Exactly.
Well, it is being with your brother.
Legit though. It's kind of weird because I'm like, it's weird because I haven't seen him since literally he was out the womb. There's a picture of me and him when he first was born, and that's the only picture that we have together.
Wow.
And I seen that picture growing up, and I just never like asked about it really. And so I don't know if my mom didn't tell me because I was not old enough to like kind of understand or grasp the concept of it. But yeah, I'll have to show you the picture. It's a cool picture.
We want to see that. In fact, maybe we can attach it to this video that we're doing. I come from a family where we were converts to the church.
Yeah.
Life wasn't always easy for any of us, I mean, and life isn't easy for anybody. That's why particularly I like to talk about football and sports, because you get knocked down.
Yeah, you do.
What's that song? You get back up again or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chamba Wamba. Here I'm now people are going to think I'm evil music listener, but we get knocked out. We get knocked down, but we get up again.
Exactly.
So anyway, life throws some curveballs and some fastballs at us.
Yeah.
Obviously, your mom, after you were already in the home, there was some adversity, right?
For sure.
And she adopted out your brother.
Yep.
So, I mean, tell us a little bit, how did you as a family, you as an individual, deal with these tough situations and work your way to where you are now?
Yeah, it's a process. It's funny you asked that, because this week I've actually thought about that a lot, and I've talked to my wife about just like all the challenges that I had growing up and the difficulties that me and my siblings faced. And I didn't know much about like what was going on with the adoption, but like, for example, I had a dad. He was playing football at Notre Dame, and so he wasn't really in my life a lot up until now. And then I have a stepfather. He just randomly got up and left. I haven't seen him or talked to him in like 6 years. And so me and my siblings have been through a lot, especially with me, because I didn't really have a person that I looked up to growing up, or like the person I thought I looked up to just end up leaving and wasn't even there anymore. And so, and the reason I was thinking about it a lot, I'm looking at my two kids, man, and it's like it's just awesome to like be a present father and to be there for my kids and to have a wife who loves me dearly and we have a good relationship. And so I think, although I did have challenges and adversity and not really a father figure to like look up to, I think it really made me a stronger person now, and it's made me a better person now, 100%. So thankful for it, to say the least, but it was for sure challenging, and still struggles that come with that. But it's, I told my adopted brother, I was like, dude, I'm glad you got adopted, to be honest, because like you grew up with two loving parents who loved you and cared about you. Yeah, they weren't like your blood parents, you know what I'm saying? But
right.
But like they loved you and they took care of you. And like with us, we didn't have a stable household with like a father there that loved us and cared about us as much as a father should. And so I'm grateful, but also I wouldn't wish that on anyone. It for sure sucks.
I wouldn't change my life.
Yeah.
I don't have any regrets.
For sure.
But sure enough, I mean, just like football, sometimes you get your face smacked into the ground.
Yeah.
And someone kind of puts it down into the dirt or mud even more.
Yeah.
And we get back up and we keep going.
For sure.
And that's what the Savior taught us, you know, that the most important thing is you get back up. So anyway, and again, if this gets too personal, we'll just edit or stop. But
no, I think I think Savior's the best example of that for sure. It's crazy. Like you look at his life, man, he got punched in the face so many times.
Yes.
Betrayed by people he loved, and he just got back up.
And I love how he always came. He came to help comfort the one.
Yeah,
and the one was frequently the one who was struggling the most.
Yeah,
who was having the most difficulty. So I felt that influence in my life, and I didn't reconnect with my father, who was divorced from my mother, until I had my children.
Oh, wow.
And it was the same thing.
Yeah.
I wanted to reconnect with my father.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful that we were able to do that. I mean, his history was different than mine.
For sure.
But I could respect and relate.
Once you have kids. Was going on. Yeah.
I don't know. Once we have kids, we have a new understanding of, wow.
Yeah. It's hard.
It's hard. So, again, where I wanted to go was your mom had some obviously difficult decisions to make.
Yeah.
And how's she doing? And what was her process of getting through, obviously, difficult steps here where we are?
For sure. It's I think it's still a challenge for her, for sure. But I think it's made her the person she is today. And no, I love my mom. She's probably one of the strongest women I've ever met, and she has endured a lot. And she's still, although the challenges that we faced growing up and everything that we went through, like she was still there no matter what, and she still took care of us. And even if it meant she had to go work 2 jobs, and while she was still going to school, or had to get in all this debt to make sure that we're taken care of. Yeah, I respect my mom a lot, and I love her a ton. She's a warrior for sure. And so she's been through a lot, hell and back for sure.
Hell and back, and I respect that a ton
For sure.
You know, my mother, I feel the same way. In some ways, she'd probably agree. She's been through hell and back. Just lost my stepfather.
Oh,
he
no.
passed away, but he was in his early
Sorry to hear that,
90s.
man. Yeah.
Oh, and he was really declining. But while I was on my mission, my mother married, and he's been my stepfather now for a long time. But I've never lived in the home, so
Wow. So you don't even know what that's.
well, you know, I mean, we've been there. I mean, Thanksgivings or Christmases and things like that, and they don't live far away, so we're connected.
Yeah.
But I was never in the home as a son or a child.
Exactly.
With my stepfather, Jack Steinagle, passed away on New Year's Day.
Oh, wow.
And his funeral was a week ago, on Saturday. But Jaylon, wow. I mean, so when you talk about your mom, your love for her, your respect for her, the difficulties she's had to overcome, sometimes we in the church or in churches, we who are faith promoting, we can become judgmental.
For sure.
You know,
100%.
We can look at someone, their trials, they must have done something wrong.
Exactly.
And we all do something wrong. There's no doubt about it.
For sure.
I've made tons of mistakes. But it's neat that you can show the story of your mom and have this deep love and respect and show the sacrifices she made, sometimes 2 jobs even while, going to school. Obviously, that's a tough decision to give a child up for adoption.
Yeah, yeah.
But now, is she grateful for that, or does she recognize a blessing that she gave up that son and he had a good life? Or has had a good life so far?
Yeah. I think she recognizes that for sure. I think for sure it's still challenging for her because she, I think there's a little bit of just like uneasy feeling that like, hey, I gave my
what if?
Yeah, like what if? Or I think that's the hardest part for her, and she's still working through that. But I think for the most part though, because she knew the parents, she was able to meet the parents that adopted him, and so
during the adoption,
exactly. And so they like flew out to Oregon and met the parents, and so I think knowing they were good people and good parents, and just awesome people, which they are. I met them. I think that for sure was a comforting feeling for her.
Good for you. Good for you. All right, now, but here's the important question. Which one of you guys wins one-on-one?
Oh, he's not athletic, man.
No, he's not.
That's what,
brother.
That's what surprised me. I was like, dude, why are you not athletic? Do you not play football, basketball, soccer? And he's like, no. I'm like, dude, like, it's in your blood, man.
Yeah,
but,
it's in.
Yeah.
Well, wow.
So to answer your question though, I would win, but like, he's tall though. He's like 6'2".
Really
tall dude, big kid, and
well, man, let's make a tight end.
I gotta get him playing, man. He'd been a nice tight end.
And let's see. I'm gonna date you a little bit, but you must be in your mid-20s.
25. Yep.
25.
Yep.
So is he like 20?
He's 20, like 21, 22, around there. Yeah, so he's 22, 20. No, I think
that's
he's older
funny
than that.
though.
22, 23. So
what are his interests?
He's more of like the he likes to go on like hikes, traveling.
Wow.
Like the concerts, things like that. So he's a little bit more outgoing than I am for sure. Very creative dude though. Very creative.
That's great in this world.
So yeah, he's gonna do big things for sure.
And let's talk up this. You were talking about the TikTok and the Instagram.
Yeah.
Where do we find this?
Yeah, I can. So is
the thing about meeting up with your adopted out brother.
Yeah, honestly, I just would look up adopted brother from Utah or something like that, and you'll find it.
And that'll take you there.
Yeah, and I can even send you a link as well too. But yeah, it was on TikTok, Instagram. Went on a show about
We'll find it.
Yeah, we'll find it 100%.
Sweet. What else do we need to know about Jaylon Vickers?
Not much. I'm very
come
boring.
on.
I'm
Come
just
on,
kidding.
there's
I'm
a
just
ton.
kidding. I'm boring, but no, man. I think I already mentioned I'm from Florida, but man. There's football background. Been in Utah for about 8 years now. I own MVP Cleaning, and
Right.
Yeah, and so
And MVP Cleaning is based out of Orem?
Yeah,
or is it in Salt Lake area?
We do Utah and Salt Lake County. So
Okay.
we do majority of Utah to be quite honest. So
Good.
But yeah, that's about it. I'm a boring guy. But
No, you're not. Stop saying that. That's not true. I think, according to my son, you've got tons of good stuff going on.
For sure.
And I've met you. We went to a basketball game together at BYU.
Appreciate that.
And that was fun. That was a blast. Let's talk about that for a second. You love basketball. We saw this new team that BYU has.
Yep.
And we've got all sorts of talent on that team, but young. We've got a new coaching staff.
Yep.
So what do you see as a basketball fan or aficionado, someone who knows basketball well? What do you see? Because BYU just broke a 3-game losing streak. They just beat that. We had lost even at TCU. We play Utah tomorrow. What's your opinion on our basketball program?
Yeah.
Where can it go? Where is it right now?
Yeah. For my initial thoughts, I think the team's just very young at the moment. And so I think they have a little bit more maturing to do as far as throughout the season, which is normal in basketball. Like you can lose 3 games in basketball and come back and win the next 3. It's not like football where a loss really hurts you as much.
Was it UConn that won last year?
UConn, yeah, they did win last year.
And didn't they? I mean, they struggled at the beginning of the season last year, as I recall what I've read about. So
it's normal.
Yeah, it's normal. And teams got to grow together. And this is a group that's been brought together from...
They're all new players.
Internationally. Yeah, and they are. A lot of them. Most of them are new players.
Yeah, I think they only returned maybe 3 from the year before.
Well, you got Foose and Richie Saunders and Dallin Hall. We got Trey Stewart, Trevin Nell.
So like 5.
Yeah, I mean, there's a nice nucleus there, but also you've got the Yegor Deming, and
he can play.
He can play. Cannon Catchings can play.
They're supposed to be like lottery picks.
Correct.
Both of them.
So anyway, you're the coach of this BYU group of guys that you've brought together. How do you get this team ready, in your opinion?
Yeah.
For getting there to the NCAAs. For example, playing in the Big 12, you could lose a lot of games because everybody's good.
I know. Yeah.
So how do you earn your way into the NCAAs, first of all? And then how does a team like this develop so that it can go deeper or deep into the NCAAs?
Yeah. I think, at least with my experience with basketball, I think the biggest thing is just, going through the tough times, which, matures you, it allows you to be better. There's 2 teams, I think, out there. There's teams that go through tough times and they just kind of fall apart. But there's teams that go through tough times and they kind of get back together. I think I read somewhere Trevin Nell was talking about how they just like had a big team meeting after losing 3 games in a row, and then they came back and won the next game. And so I think if they just keep doing that, staying together as a team, maturing, I think they'll be fine, man. They have the talent. They got 2 lottery picks potentially, and so on the team. And so I think they have the potential to make a big run for sure to end off the year.
It'll be fun to see that. And of course, with a team like this and a coaching staff that's coming in together.
Kevin Young he's a
fantastic.
Yeah. They got the number 1 player coming in next year because of Kevin Young.
I know.
Yeah.
So, I mean, super excited, but there's still a learning curve.
Exactly.
You
know? And that's the
NBA, that's easy next to college, right? Yeah, right, Lacey. No, I'm totally being dumb there.
It's a different ball game.
But it is a different game.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously the NBA is the top of the world in the basketball world. But the NCAA is a little bit different a ball game, and everybody's learning. I love it as a fan to see this team develop. And again, a life sport metaphor. We talk about Jaylon Vickers, the growth and development of you and your family. your new family, the beautiful wife and family that you have, but also the issues your mom doing what she had to do to help raise you guys, your stepfathers and things like that. There are steps to making it to that, ultimate goal that we all have.
Exactly. And it's challenging. But I feel like if you do it the right way and you're not going to see the light at the end of the tunnel, but if you have that perspective, I think you can get through anything. So I'm excited for BYU basketball, though.
I am too.
Yeah.
Oh, and I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just saying, it's interesting to see these steps, and I'm with you. I'm excited about that. And this is really cool. I mean, you've helped us bring life and sport together in a cool way.
For sure.
So, as we finish this, what would you like to share with our listeners and our watchers, people that are frequently BYU fans or members of the church? What are you, and people that love football and basketball, look forward to the future? What would you like to share with us, Jay?
Yeah, I feel like I have a lot that's like on my mind lately, but I think the biggest thing though is just, and I think the two, whether you're in business, sports, life, family, I think it just kind of all relates is, just always putting God first, and always.
I thought you were going to say golf. And
I should have.
Oh, I'm getting evil now, because obviously where you're going, putting God first is a critical thing. But I think that's a funny.
Yeah. I should have. That's
putting golf first. That's funny. All right, I interrupted, and you're Jaylon. I want you to be. I need to be serious. Share with us putting God first. What does that mean?
For sure. No, it's I think the biggest thing is just I feel like God and Christ are one of the biggest examples that we have. And I think I've never been failed by them as far as, going through challenges and going through hard times. And at times you don't even realize they're there until you look back 2 years ago or a year ago or a week ago. You're like, man, God was there along the way. And so I think it sounds so simple. It sounds very cliche, but I've just seen in my life, when you put God first, everything else just kind of falls. It doesn't mean you're going to win every game. Doesn't mean you're going to be the most successful. Doesn't mean you're not going to have challenges in your family. You're not going to make mistakes as a father or a mother. But if you can have that foundation of God and Christ, I think your life's going to head in the right direction. It may not go the way you want it to go, but it's going to be a happy ending, 100%.
And what you just said, it may not go the way you want it to go. I mean, along the path, sometimes you have to take, sometimes you have to take different paths than what you had planned.
Exactly.
And that's the right way to go, that God can be with you in that. So it's not always going to be easy, because the steps along the way, sometimes you step backwards to take 2 steps forward.
Yep.
But you have just shared wisdom beyond a young man's, I'm constantly entranced with how these new younger generations, that the wisdom and knowledge, maturity that you have. So thank you, Jaylon Vickers.
I appreciate it.
No, I do too. And it's fun to have you here.
Yes, sir.
On Beyond the Game. And let's watch both the basketball and the football team next year.
Yes, sir.
Have wonderful years.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you having me on. Thank you.
Good to have you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you for watching another episode of Beyond the Game. Remember to click here to subscribe and click here to watch our recent videos. Also, please follow us on social media. And remember, go Cougs.